won't be home for dinner tonight.
What?
I have to work with her.
Hey guys. Please ask me what I'm doing because I know I cannot dance. Anyway, welcome back to my channel, Kamani Talks. If this is your first time here, like, welcome. Join us. If you are new to this channel and it's the first time you've come across me, Kamani Talks, Courtney Amani, then please do subscribe, watch this video, and also watch my last video. As you guys can tell from the title, it is a bit of like a story time kind of thing. No, I'm not gonna write like story time in the title. It's just this is something I've gone through. Yeah, this video is something I want to do to like help people basically, and motivate people kind of thing, because this is something I'm still going through. And yeah, so I'll give you guys some background history. When it comes to like my family, cancer is a major thing. It's something that we've all had to deal with basically. Growing up, my mum was always at different funerals for all of her cousins and her auntie, so that's how I've grown up basically. I never got to meet my grandma because she also passed with cancer. When I can't remember how young my mum was, maybe in her 20s. I do know my uncles were quite young, so that's another thing that, you know, cancer kind of took away from me because of my grandma being like passing from cancer, and then my mum's cousin, aunties and stuff passing from it as well. My mum was kind of always on high risk to the doctor surgery anyways, so they taught her how to assess like for lumps and stuff like that. And every year she went in for a mammogram, I believe it's called, and so she was always on high alert. But for herself kind of thing, she was on high alert, especially because she had kids, and I believe my mum just didn't want to really affect us or anything like that, so she would always check herself. She wouldn't even wait to go to the doctor, she would check for herself. So one day she came across a lump. This was probably when I was in year 10 or year 11, but around about 4 or 5 years ago. So when I was in secondary school, so she went to the doctor's surgery and sent her and referred her somewhere else to, you know, get the checkups and everything, and they found out that the lump was indeed cancerous. So that's where everything kind of began for us. That was our first introduction to cancer basically. And they removed the cancer lump and the breast lump, and she began chemotherapy. She did probably about 6 sessions for every 3 weeks, and my mum was a star. Amazing. Like literally she was going through this chemotherapy, which is like putting toxins in your body, like running toxins through your body, poison through your body, you know. And she was amazing. Like a lot of people lose hair. My mum didn't lose hair. A lot of different things happen to people, but my mum, she just about felt sick on the day that she had the chemo, and then after that she was fine, and she was a star because she went to work. And I think that's why I viewed her as such as a strong woman, because she went to work through something so difficult. Like, who does that? I never heard of anyone who was working through chemotherapy. She started her radiotherapy, and that's the one that kind of took its toll, but you did see certain things that she didn't like, so it burnt her, because obviously the lump was around here on the left side, and it burnt her around her neck, and that took some time for it to disappear. So after the radiotherapy, maybe a month or 2 later, she was given the all clear from that. So you know, we was like lives back to normal basically. So from then it was about another year or so, yeah, another year later, and she found another lump. And this was in my second year of college, so this was about almost 2 years ago. If you guys haven't gathered, every single time my mum's cancer developed, it was like the devil was really trying to play with me, because it was like an important part of my life basically, a time that I needed to focus on doing good for my future, that he just wanted to make, you know, it's like he wanted to use that and to beat me up. She found it in December. They took long to you know, to make her have an appointment, and then when she finally did have the appointment, they did deem it cancerous, and this was January, I think. And then so in February they decided a course of action was to be chemotherapy, but at a higher dosage than the last time, I believe, or radiotherapy all time. And then they wanted to remove her breast. That was pretty like a heavy thing for me to know that my mum was gonna have to remove her breasts to protect herself and be able to actually be a mother, kind of thing. And it was sad because, if I'm honest, my mum's breast was one of my favourite parts of her. Like, you don't understand, when the fact that my mum had big breasts was so amazing. Like, I'd love laying on her breasts. It was so comfortable. Even my cousins used to do that. I'd be like, auntie, can I just have a hug? Like, can I just lay here? And every single one of their heads would just pop themselves on her breast. Like, it was so comfortable.
Make sure you talk about her
Go
breakfast.
away!
Her breakfast was
Ruth,
so
go away! I'm trying to record.
Sorry.
I was like, one of my favourite parts about her, so it was something that I had to get, like, to come to terms with. But I could only imagine how much it was harder for her, basically, because, you know, your breast is something so important and it's attached to your womanhood, kind of thing. But anyways, they deemed that what would be the process would that she'd have a double mastectomy. They wanted to do chemotherapy so that just in case it didn't get into the blood, the cancer didn't affect the bloodstream and what have you. But so the double mastectomy, what was going to happen was they was going to take off both of her breasts and insert pumps into both of them to keep the skin naturally stretchy. And then a year after the recovery, because obviously removing your breast is such a major surgery, a year after recovery, they'd give her new cosmetic breasts, basically, which I was looking forward to, because I wanted my mum back, and I knew that was something she was insecure about when the surgery happened. Okay, so the day of the surgery, I remember we woke up around, she woke me up about 6:30. We needed to be in the place for 7:30. She was nervous, like so scared, because you know it's such a heavy risk surgery, like you don't know if you're gonna make it out, kind of thing. And I just remember praying with her, like listening to some reggae and stuff, like some of her favourite reggae songs. Obviously I was both scared, so we shed a tear or two. And I remember she spoke to me about education. Basically she spoke to me about me being in school and stuff. She was in surgery from about 11 AM, which she was supposed to be from 9, but they had some problems, and until about 7 PM ish times she came out of surgery. Seeing her so, you know, weak was like so, it takes a lot out of you to see the person who, you know, provides for you so poorly. The person when you're poorly who looks after you when you're not well, like in a broken position. Like it takes a lot out of you. It really just eats itself away at you, because it's like, you know, you feel as if you're incapable because you don't know how to do it. I'm still so young, so to do that is like, whoa, kind of thing. Like, how do you know what I mean? An infection, so she had to go back in for another surgery, which again was really nerve-wracking for her. And so she went in, and that was another couple hours surgery. And even when she came out like it was like an emergency surgery. She came out really late at the night, and they wouldn't even let me see her. Like, I had to run in to see her and stuff. Like, it was really emotional, but I was just happy again that she was okay. The recuperation took a lot out of her. Basically, she went back to work maybe a month or two later, so September-ish time. So she had the surgery in July, and around September-ish times she literally went back to work and was trying to soldier it out, but she was in a lot of pain. So basically what ended up happening was that she still had her left breast with the pump in it, but the right breast had to remove the pump because of the infection. So she had no breast on this side completely and was using like false breast, but she was getting a lot of pain in her arm. And so she was focusing on that. And come December-ish time, so at this time, so okay, let me explain myself about me. So results they happen, and I wasn't gonna go to uni. I still wasn't intending on doing it. My heart was set on going to university in America. Since I wasn't gonna do that, I decided that it was just, you know, best for me to just do something that would get me into a job atmosphere. So I just decided, okay, I'll do an apprenticeship. So I was planning to do that, but then I got a phone call from my friends explaining to me about what they was doing and how I should do it with them, which was go to university and do a foundation year. So that's how I ended up at university. And so I started the foundation year, and I've been in Canterbury. I'm at uni and I'm doing the work and everything. I mean, I'm going back to London on the weekends, and my mum's just not herself. Like, she just wasn't as active as much. She weren't doing a lot. Different things that, you know, like sometimes I'd come home and the house is a bit more messier than like what mum's standard was, and I was like confused because I know how my mum is. So I was a bit, but I didn't really equate it to, you know, she's unwell. I equated it to she's just tired kind of thing, you know, she's getting older. She was about 54, and so I was just equating it to like she's getting a bit more tired, you know, surgery's still taking its toll on her, the pain in her arm, they're always sending her home and different things like that. And then basically she was just getting worse and worse, and she was losing her colour, and I didn't know. I just kept on telling my mum, go to the doctor's surgery, please, 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 please. And every single time I'll call her, oh mum, did you go to the doctor's? She woke up too late, or she had to go to work, or there was always another excuse as to why she didn't go to doctor's surgery. There was time that she wanted me to come with her, but because I was in university on Mondays and Fridays, yeah, and Fridays I believe. Oh no, because I was in the university area from Monday till Friday, I couldn't go with her. So then I literally just, you know, couldn't come with her, and I was working at the time, so I literally couldn't go with her. And basically finally one day she went, and I was at work. I remember being on the crepe machine, and I just had a bad feeling, like something was just eating at me inside. But because it was that day was so busy at work, I just didn't think anything of it. Well, I didn't think anything of it, but I brushed it off. And later on, I think I called my mum, and she said she's staying in the hospital. They think something's wrong with her liver. So I was thinking, oh, that's a bit weird, do you know what I mean? I didn't really expect for anything to be like something like that, do you know what I mean? I just thought she's not her nutrients or whatever. So they had her on a drop and everything. And the next day I went into work, and I had the same bad feeling, the same like eating at me inside, but I was busy. It was busy at work, really busy, and I just didn't, because obviously in Casper's it's like an upbeat environment. There's a lot going on, so much, so then you never have the time to be like, oh, to like your manager, oh, can I go and call my mum, or can I do this, or you're not even thinking because it's so busy. And then when I left work, I remember I brought my stuff to go back to London to work, and when I left work I rushed for my coach, and I must have napped or whatever. When I remembered, I was probably in Eltham, and I called her. I said, Mum, what's going on? And like, why are you still in the hospital? What's the update? What is it? And she basically said, she didn't really say it, she just said, oh, it's the cancer's back. And she broke down, and I said, okay, Mum, I'm gonna have to talk to you later, like I can't be on the phone right now, because she was crying, so it was really hard for me to really deal with. So I came off the phone, and I called my auntie, and I said, yeah. So I called my auntie back, and I mean, I called my auntie. It's my mum's sister-in-law technically, and one of my mum's really close friends. That's basically like her best friend. And I called her, and I just kind of broke down on the phone to her and stuff. And then I spoke to my sister about it, And you know, I was just thinking, if it's not one thing, it's another. Do you know what I mean? And then I was basically just like, you know, praying about it. And the thing that, do you know what it is about it? So how I started that year, I gave a testimony at church and I said, I'm so thankful that, you know, cancer's come and it's gone. And I was so grateful to God that he, you know, had my mum and she was there and she was healthy again, and the cancer was gone. And the devil just, you know, he really tried to take it out of me, because again, in like another critical period in my life at university is when he, you know, this attacks my mum again, but this time it was in her liver, and he really played with me and my mum as well, because she was focusing on the pain in her arm, that she never focused on like the pain she was getting in her sides from where her liver is, or the fact she weren't eating as much, because that's the reason why I equated that she was going pale. It's because she was eating less. So whenever I was in London, I was making sure I was cooking for her when I could and stuff like that. But that's how I balanced the two. But what it really was the liver was, you know, having the cancer developing it, that her colour was like, you know, fading, but that's because of a result of the liver. But the devil, you know, he used the two against, like, he just, so then we was going through this, and mom was getting worse and worse and worse, and she didn't want me to leave uni, but I was so close to leaving and coming back to London, but she didn't want me to leave. So my auntie took her in, and that just made me feel like I was a bad daughter. But then because of everything, and I don't know, I just couldn't. I felt like I felt incapable, and I felt like a child, and I didn't, like, for once in my life, I didn't feel like I was that independent. I wasn't that person, that independent person I always claimed to be, which I am, but like I always felt like I was, you know, mature and I could look after myself kind of thing. But then I never knew how it would be to look after someone else kind of thing, and I never thought I'd have to get to that stage until I found my husband. And stop saying, I always say found, until my husband has found me, and you know what I'm saying. And I had kids, and so I never thought that I'd have to go through like looking after my parent at all. Like, I never ever thought it was going to be that. My mum would always say stuff like, talk about, like, you know, the cancer and passing and stuff like that, and I always used to rebuke it, like, because, did I say that correctly? Rebuke it? Because I just didn't believe that that it was, that, you know, her time was coming anywhere. Or maybe I was just being in denial. And anyways, so come what June, I went on holiday in May. She was staying with my auntie, so, you know, she was alright, and I went on holiday in May to America. She was getting really healthy at my auntie's house, like really good, really well, and she came back.